The conversation about rising public debt remains critical, particularly as Uganda continues to navigate the aftermath of the COVID-19 pandemic. During 2020 and 2021, Uganda received substantial financial support from international institutions to mitigate pandemic effects, including grants, loans, and notably special drawing rights or SDRs.
This is a sort of an asset that was created by IMF in 1969 for its members. Basically, can be used in terms of you can exchange it for currency. So SDR alone cannot be used. You can only use them when you convert them into a currency.
Special drawing rights come in at a time of crisis. So they are really coming in to address two things. One is a country's national reserves may be going down very fast. So if you look at the COVID situation, when we received these monies again, we needed to buy a lot of things to control COVID, the protection equipment, vaccines, all the many things that were being lumped into COVID, but also to maintain your other purchases so that the economy doesn't completely collapse.
Uganda employed SDRs strategically to bolster its reserves and provide fiscal backing, revitalizing its foreign exchange reserves to sustainable levels, thus enhancing liquidity and economic stability.
To keep the economy running, we ran to those SDRs. So a part of them really went to secure the reserves, and a part of it went into what we call budget support for the country to have liberty to continue doing its business.
When the government decided to take half of that, it also helped again on the fiscal side. So we maintained the 200 something worth of $1 million as a reserve, but also fiscal now took off the half for its expenditure pattern. So in that case, now you are distributing both on the monetary side, building reserves, but also on the other hand, helping in terms of expenditure, easing expenditure pressures.
This dual strategy underscores Uganda's proactive use of SDRs to strengthen reserves and offer essential fiscal support during these challenging times.
The continued purchase of the things we needed, testing equipment, PCR tests, buying all the other drugs, bringing in food, bringing in fuel, the logistics of managing the health sector at the time, because we know schools were closed. We also gave some money to support poor households. Now, to help government keep those running at that point in time, the SDRs made a contribution.
Although SDRs are non-traditional loans, they can accrue interest, contributing to the public debt.
Once you use it, now you have drawn down on your asset, so your liability is higher than your asset, so you have to pay IMF the equivalent interest. So that's where now the debt issue comes in.
Uganda's public debt has surged, reaching 96 trillion shillings, nearly $25 billion US, or 52% of GDP by June 2023. The COVID-19 pandemic intensified this debt crisis.
We note, of course, again with concern that our debt is rising by the day. As we speak, at least we are over 96 trillion shillings in debt. That is as at June 2023, and it increased by 10% from 86 trillion in June 2022. So the level of increase is also quite a matter of concern. But what this then means is that we also have to channel a bigger share of our national budget, of our national resources, towards servicing this debt.
What if we didn't have the 20 trillion in this budget that is really addressing debt issues, both debt refinancing, interest payment, foreign debt repayments of interest and principal? What would 20 trillion, even if it is half of that, 10 trillion in the budget that is free because the debt obligation is not there, what would it do in supporting those households with their basic needs?
There are growing concerns over the transparency of SDR and loan utilizations during the pandemic.
For example, the Auditor General's reports came out about the utilization of the COVID-19 funds, and one of the key issues was on the procurement of vaccines. we know that some of these SDR funds were procured to deal with the situation, with the economic situation then, deal with the health situation, and one of the areas where government at least pointed that they used this money was in purchasing of the vaccines. But according to the Auditor General, we only got to know about 1 billion vaccines that had been purchased out of the 18 billion vaccines. And so from that time, the citizens have never, gotten accountability. We do not know what then happened.
Addressing these transparency issues is crucial for enhancing governance and ensuring the effective and efficient use of resources, thereby rebuilding public trust in government financial management.